Hey guys, it's Jenna G. Welcome back to my channel. It's all about fish. If you guys don't know by now, my husband absolutely loves fishing. So my freezer almost always has fish in it. So today it's all about fish in a creamy tomato and spinach sauce. These are the ingredients that we'll need for our fish in creamy tomato and spinach sauce. I'm going to be using some cooking cream. If you don't have cooking cream, you can actually just use some margarine, some butter, and some milk. I'll post that option down below so you guys can check that out. Spinach leaves, of course, and I have some chopped up onions, grated garlic, and I've got my chopped up tomatoes here. This is my fish that has been cut into chunks already by the husband. And I'm going to be using some salt, some paprika, cayenne pepper, and some black pepper. To my pan, I'm going to be adding some olive oil. And I'm going to be sauteing my onions and my garlic. Next, in goes my chopped up tomatoes. I'm going to be reducing my heat and I'm just going to let this cook until the tomatoes are nice and tender. I'm just going to cover it to help it cook through properly and faster. If you need to add a little water, go right ahead and add some, depending on the pan, depending on the heat. You may need to add just a bit just to prevent it from sticking. So once these tomatoes are nice and tender, I'm going to be adding the cooking cream, some paprika, cayenne pepper, salt, black pepper. Stir this up. Let it continue cooking. Let the tomatoes continue cooking through in it. Now you can cook it according to, your preference in terms of how you want the tomatoes. If you want some chunks in it, of course, don't cook it for too long. But if you prefer more of a smooth consistency, be sure to cook it until it's just perfect enough for you. Next, what we're going to be doing is adding our fish to the sauce. So this is quite similar to the fish in tomato sauce that I did some time back, except this just has a creamy element to it. So the fish was seasoned with a bit of salt, black pepper, and I added just a pinch of paprika in it as well. So because they're cut fairly small, they will not take time too long to cook. So I'm just going to cover it with some of the sauce. And I'm also going to be adding my spinach leaves at this point. Now the spinach leaves will wilt when we cover it. So just going to top it right there. And I'm going to just cover the pan, keeping my heat on low still. And in a few minutes, we'll check back with it. Now if you want, you can turn the fish over. It is all up to you depending on the type of fish that you're using and the size of the fish. If you want to turn it over, go right ahead. Try to use a firm fish if you're doing this. If you're using one that's more on the soft side, be sure to add it very carefully and gently, and try to add it as late as possible in the cooking process, because you don't want your fish to fall apart. So I'm leaving the cover off and I'm just going to leave it on the heat just for a few minutes again. When that sauce is thicken up a little more there, you're just going to sprinkle some sage on it to finish off, and that would be it for our fish in a creamy tomato and spinach sauce. So once it's finished, this is what it's going to look like. So if you're wondering what I'm going to be eating it with, well, got some basmati rice, and I'm just going to be, of course you can eat this with pasta as well. Goes fantastic with pasta. Easy dish for you guys to try out. I had spinach in the fridge, I had some tomatoes in there, and that cooking cream. Now of course, if you don't have the spinach leaves, that's fine. You can actually just make this as is with that cream and the tomatoes in there. You can even add any other sort of veggies you want as well in there. So I hope you guys try this out. Just remember that you can use any sort of fish, firm fish preferably. if you're using some of the softer fish, make sure that you add it last to the pot. You don't want them to fall apart with any other fish dishes that you do into. Make sure you use sort of firm fish. If you can't get the firm fish, use any other fish. Just be careful when you're adding it to the pan. Make sure everything else is cooked through properly. Add it in last just to cook for a couple of minutes, and that will be it. So try this out, guys. Let me know what you guys think about it. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you on my next video.